Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so this is your SPSS. You can open your SPSS now. Did you open your SPSS already? Okay. After you open your SPSS, then we need to familiarize. We need to understand about the overview of this software. Okay. The first one, SPSS contain two tabs down here. Can you see it? Correct. Data view and variable view. Data view is where we want to put our data. Put our responses, our data. Variable view, in the other hand, is actually being used to set up your variables. Setting up your variables. For example, you have variables named gender. You have variables named age. Whatever variables boleh ubah that you have need to be set inside the variable view box first. So the beginning of opening this software, you must firstly engage or click the variable view tab button. This one down here. Variable view tab button. That means you need to set your variable first lah. So whatever variables that we have. Okay, for example, you can put here age, for example. You just put age over there. You can just put age over there. Okay, and then automatically the type will be set for you is numeric form. Okay, numeric means that the computer are going to tell you that all the data that you put inside will be in the number form. Faham tak? Numeric, So you can click this three dot. Please click this three dot. You can see the different types of variables. For example, you get the comma, dot, scientific notation, date, dollar, currency sign, string. String are for huruf or abjad or words. For example, you do something to do an experimental study, you do follow-up kan. Therefore, you need to put the name of the respondent, the short name, Ahmad 1. Ahmad 2 means that being follow-up after that. So you can use the string. Okay, which one you want me to repeat? The Assalamualaikum one or one? Okay, I made a repetition. Okay, before we begin anything inside the SPSS, we got what we call it as the two important tab here, as you can see. The first tab is the data view tab down here. When you open the SPSS, it will open something like this, and then they got two tabs here. One we call it as the data view, one we call it as the variable view. So the first one, you need to set your variables, and therefore click your variable view tab button. Okay, this one is the variable view tab button. For example, in our study just now, I'm saying that we are going to set our age. The first question, for example, you ask your question about how old are you, contoh. So after you write age, and then you click enter and you move your cursor anywhere, automatically the computer are going to set as numeric. If you want to change, up to you. You can go to this three dot and then you can change accordingly whatever the types of data. Type ini adalah jenis. What kind of data that you are talking about. So in this case, I'm talking to the computer that all the data will be numeric form. That means it become numbers lah. Okay, the next one is the width. Width is how long lah, label. How long is your column will be, and then this is decimal point, tempat perpuluhan, and then this is the label. Sometimes I may suggest you to put as simplest as possible for your name of variables. For example, you put here x1. X1 is the factor 1, and then you label it as age. This approach also can. So that you know the x1 is your age. The label is being named here. Because you cannot put longer name in the name of variables, because the SPSS won't recognize any character including the spacebar. You put the spacebar, it become invalid. So never put the spacebar. You want to put something longer name, you put inside the label. If you want to make something to do with the data, for example, you want to make the age become category. For example, kan, in my opinion, I will put x1.cat. So it become a categorical data. Okay, understand or not? How to name your variable. This is how you want to name your variables. Okay, after you name your variable inside the label, then we have values. Values only applicable for nominal or ordinal scale only. I make a repetition, okay? Values only applicable for any ordinal or nominal data only. So that's mean if you are putting something to do with the interval and ratio scale, no need to set anything in here. Here tu apa? Kat sini tak payah setting apa-apa kalau data kamu numeric. Understand or not? Very good. So how to set? I give you another example after this. So this one is X1, right? Okay, good. So missing are being used if you got some missing values. Okay, don't worry. We are going to discuss about this later on. And then we got column. Column is column lah. Alignment is alignment. Measures. Measures is what we want to measure. As you know, before this I already explained to you, interval and ratio scale are considered scale data. Correct or not? Ordinal is ordinal, nominal is nominal. This is what has been set by the computer. Any statistical package that involved in the analysis of data usually will be like this. If you open another type of analysis, for example, this JMP. JMP is coming from the SAS. SAS is the competitor of the SPSS lah. They also produce a statistical package analysis and analytical package. So this one are much more reliable also. But this one is not utilized lah, fully utilized. But I already have experience also. Same also. You need to set the variables and then you need to set the data. Okay, the first step is setting up your variables. After you are setting up your variables, then you can move on into the data view. Okay, the next one, for example, you put here as X2. X2 is our gender. For example, gender. You type here gender. Okay, follow? Follow, eh? Okay, and then you go to the values because you know that the gender is nominal scale, right? So the gender is nominal scale and therefore you click the values. They have some 3 dots there. You click the 3 dots to teach the computer about their attributes. So for example, this one, they're making clicking here. They said to you, what is the value? You put there 1 and then you label it as male. And then you click add button. So automatically, any number 1 will be categorized as male. This is what we call attributes and value. You give attributes so that computer know the number 1 is male. And then you put number 2. You all please put number 2 and then you specify as female. This one, you click the add button. And then the computer will understand the attributes that you name with the number 2 will be female. And then you click OK. If you click cancel, you do it again. Understand? That's all. This one also you can copy and paste. For example, you got the question kan. You ada question yang banyak. You have 5 or 10 different question, which is the question 1 until 5. Sorry, not 1 until 5. 1 disagree, 5 strongly agree. So you have many questions. So you can just copy and paste. This one is copy and paste capability. They have the capability to copy and paste. Don't worry. You can speed up the process. Okay, so far so good. Okay, let us move into the X3. X3 is the BMW model, correct? No, X3 is the factor number 3. X3, for example, what kind of demographic characteristic that you want to investigate? In this case, for example, I'm going to set it as race. Okay, race. So race, as you know, race is a nominal scale or ordinal scale, ladies and gentlemen? Correct. It is a nominal scale because it's a categorical data, correct? And therefore, you must set the values also. You click the 3 dot inside the values and then you set accordingly lah. The first one is Malay. So non-Malay, jangan terasa hati. It's just an example. Attributes doesn't mean anything. Okay, number 2 is Chinese, for example. Chinese. Okay, and then number 3 is Indian, and then number 4 is others. This is the example only if you want to set the attributes with their respective number in your values column. After that, you click OK. So far, so good. semula. Which one you want me to repeat? Okay, Malay, this one you set it as X3, you put the label race, and then you click this one. You must click this button. The 3 dot button here you click, and then you name accordingly. Okay, how to rename accordingly? I make a repetition so that you can see. The first one, you put the number first. For example, the number 1 I specify as Malay, number 2 I specify as Chinese, and number 3 I specify as Indian, and then number 4 I specify as others. Okay, it's all up to you what you want to label. It's not necessarily to follow my flow. You can put Malay 4, can, up to you. You can put the Indian one, also can, no worries. Whatever that you want to put, you must remember that is what you set for the computer. Otherwise, the computer won't know. The computer cannot read the word. They only can read the number. Okay? So far, so good. If finish already, then click OK. If you click cancel, you do it again because it's not being set. That's all. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. For example, we try another simpler one. Okay? You put Y there. Why? Why I put the Y? Because Y indicate the outcome. Usually X is the factor, Y is the outcome. For example, in this exercise, I'm going to put the IQ. For example, I'm going to put the IQ. And as you know, as I mentioned to you before yesterday, the IQ I specify under the interval ratio scale. So I'm going to set the measures as scale. So for the rule, forget about it for this moment because it is the same lah. You can just asking the computer to become whatever that they want. This one is more on advanced kind of module lah. You just can skip that one. Okay, never set anything in your Y or in your X1. Why? Because the values are no meaning for the values because we want to put the values in our data set. Okay? After that, after you finish setting up our variables, this is just the simpler mechanism to setting up your variables, and then you want to enter your data. Unfortunately, one of the best trick ever that I want to share with you, don't forget to put the ID. Why? Because usually we not name our respondent. We usually put numbers on our questionnaire or respondent. Understand? So therefore, we miss one important idea to put the ID. So where you want to put the ID? You want to put the ID in the beginning of variables. It's just the indicator. For example, number 1 is Helmi. Number 2 is what? Is, and so on and so forth until number 29. So we want to put numbers so that we know the characteristic 1 is belong to who in our hard copy of the questionnaire. So how you want to put something that you already missed? Don't worry. You just click here and right click. You know right click or not? Yes, okay, good. And then you go to the insert variables. And then you can click here ID. ID is just a number, urutan nombor. Okay. Just click that and put insert variables and then rename it as ID. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, you can arrange accordingly. For example, you want to move the X3 above, also can. You can just move up and down, you know. You can just move it up and down. You can just move it up and down. You can move the Y to up here. Okay. For example, you want to move the X3 here to the up. Okay, you can just select here and then you can move it up. Okay, you can move it down. Okay, whatever it is, you can do it. No worries. ID stands for the identification number for your respondent. For example, you have the questionnaire. You have 100 questionnaire, kan? So number 1, you put number 1 here lah. So that means whatever number that you put here is correspond to this questionnaire. Settle, kick in. Number 2 is this guy number 2 punya responses. And then you put here in your data set. So you know lah. Number 1, senang nanti nak cari balik you punya questionnaire tu. Let's say number 1 ada extreme values. You want to recheck back whether betul ke tinggi dia ni 2 meter. Tengok memang betul 2.8 meter. Tinggi macam lori. Contoh. That is the example lah. Okay. Okay, it's actually how we want to remove the variables. This one is variables, tahu kan variables? Variables means that all these things apa boleh ubah. This one is variables. Okay, don't think that this is our data tau. This is not our data. This is variables. We need to set our variable first. Contohnya your variable is what? Knowledge. Knowledge is variables. Soalan knowledge nombor 1 is your variables. Age is your variables. Gender is your variables. Whatever that you specify to ask the respondent and waiting their responses or answers, that one we call it as variables lah, because everybody got different responses. Okay, so now let's say you want to remove this one, VAR 000. You cannot remove like this, delete, cannot. You must highlight first. After you highlight, you can delete. Okay, I make a repetition. You can highlight the rows. Highlight the rows, or you can right click and then click clear button, and then it will clear. For example lah, if you want to clearing your variables. Okay, understand so far? So now we are going to practice and put some input or data in our setup. So how to do that? You just go to the data view. You click data view here. After you click data view, then you can see 5 different column already made for you, correct? This one is ID, X1, X2, X3, and Y. Okay, now go back to your variable view. If you want to speed up the process, you can just double click to the variable. It will straight away go to the column. For example, kan, I want to see the X1. Double click here, it goes to the data view. You just click here. Okay, you just click it back, it will go to your variables. Okay, can you do that? Do it again. Okay, I make example. I'm clicking the X2, it will go to your data view. I click it again, it will go to our variable view. So far so good? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you must remember that this is our variables. And therefore, we want to set our data. So now go to your data view. Go to your data view. And then we want to put some data. Okay, ready? Very good. Now, you just can put the numbers. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, until number 10. Let's say our respondent is 10 people. Let's say. So, how to write the simplest 1 to 10? You need to use the Excel. SPSS, you cannot tarik, cannot. You must write it manually, or you can use the Excel. 1, 2. For me, I'm so lazy to type 1 to 10, so I'm going to ask the computer to write it for me. So I'm just want to tarik this one and then copy and paste, because I know that I am here a human. This one is computer, then he need to do a lot of work rather than me. Okay, so finish 1 to 10 easier. If you got 1 million also simple. Just use your Microsoft Excel just to put the ID. Why? Because the ID is the identification number for our respective cases. Yes, respondent. So in this example, for example, number 1 just now is Helmi. Number 2 is number 3 is Fatimah. This one is Aminah, Aisyah, Zahrah, whatsoever lah. Okay, and then number 1, X1. So now let us begin to put our data. Okay, can you follow me? So far so good or not? Okay, this is number 1, ID number 1. For example, Helmi. This one is what? Age. Helmi is, for example, 25 years old. Very young guy. Okay, X2 is what? If you're not sure, you can move your cursor here, and then the computer are going to give you some idea. It is a gender. So, gender number 1, because he is a male. And then the next one is X3. X3 is what? Race. He is a Malay, number 1. And then Y is what? IQ. Let's say the IQ is 130. Wow, very clever boy, for example. Okay, the next one, ID number 2. ID number 2 means that respondent number 2. Respondent number 2 is age 26, let's say lah. He's a male, he's a Malay, and his IQ is 131, for example. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is our friend over there. Let's say her name is Aminah. She is only 21 years old, very young. And having no problem, please proceed accordingly lah. You name it accordingly. Follow me. Follow me means that so that our data will be similar lah. So the first one will be 23. All of you are youngsters kan? Very young one. We got one old people here, 34. We got some older here and then 25. Okay, and then we mix lah our gender. We mix around. This is just example lah. It's not the real one. It's just an example so that we can move around with our data. Okay, this one is just an example. Okay, finish. Okay, nanti you tengok yang nombor. You jangan tengok yang I buat ni. You tunggu dulu pun tak apa. Okay, you don't key in yet. Also can, because you need to key in so that the data will be the same. Okay, this is just an example of the data. Okay, so now I'm going to click this one, values label. After you click this, it will change from the labels into the value. So now you just follow the value. This one is not 1000 lah, it's 120. Okay, please write it accordingly. You write it already? Make sure that it is the same. Can you see it, or you need me to make it more bigger? Bigger. This one is much more clearer. More clearer, Okay, that's good. So you got your data already, so you can save your data. Of course lah, you can save your file. You can save your file. So now put the push the save button and then save your file accordingly inside a respective folder, inside a suitable folder. This one is ADOC, right? ADOC class. So I'm going to put here as a one trial lah, trial, TRAIL trial. And then I'm just going to hit the save button. After you click the save button, automatically this kind of thing will appear. Correct or not? This one we call it as the IBM SPSS viewer. This viewer is actually your output. What we call as the IBM statistic viewer. Viewer means that is your output. That means after you run analysis and whatsoever, it will appear in your output. This output is actually your data logging. Not data logging lah, your output lah, your result. Your result will appear in here. Okay. So SPSS got 3 different windows ataupun 3 different views. The first one we call it dataset. Yang ini, the first one that we set here, which is contain data view and variable view, we call it as what? Dataset. The next one that always open automatically, even you did not ask, we call it as the viewer or output viewer. For example, kan, if you run any analysis, it will appear in that one. You just click any analysis, it will appear to you. This one we call it as the output or SPSS viewer. And then we got another one. The last one, we got 3, The first one, dataset. The second one is the viewer. So, the viewer ni will record anything that you did. You save the record. Pada yang akan selalu memberikan anda maklumat or output, we call it as a viewer. This one is viewer. And then the last one but not least is the syntax. If you click here, analyze descriptive frequency, you did not click OK button, you click paste button. Then it will open another one. We call it as a syntax. So they got 3 different things. The first one is dataset. The second one is the viewer. The third one is the syntax. Syntax ini, the syntax is actually a very useful and a powerful platform for you to manipulate coding. For the statistician or mathematician or anybody data analyst that want to make coding, they will code inside the syntax. So the function of syntax, in my humble opinion, is like a toyol. You know toyol? Something like to do with your helper. So if I want to know what kind of analysis that I did before, I can just highlight this and click the run. It will run for me. Yes, that is the function of the syntax. So basically, you can write your step here lah. For example, your first step is you write descriptive statistic. Contoh lah, descriptive statistic. I cannot easily write over there. So you can ask the computer to save the syntax button also inside your specific folders. Excuse me. So for example, this is my syntax. So whatever activities that I did, whatever analysis that I did, I will record it. How I want to record? I just put here as paste. So everything will be recorded into my steps. So if I want to reanalyze, I can just highlight it and click run button. And then you also can share this hint or this toil to your colleague. But your colleague need to change the variable name. For example, I'm using ID. Your friend using response. Your friend uses nama. Apa ID yang ada, apakah variable nama dia, you just change accordingly. For example kan, I want to change frequency variable is equal to ID ni kepada X1. So what will happen? X1 is what? Our age, right? So it will give me the frequency of the age straight away. No need to click analyze whatsoever. This is how you want to manipulate the data using syntax. Never mind. By the time goes on, I'm going to explain to you how to use it. Now you just need to familiar. There is 3 different views from the SPSS interfaces. The first one, we call it as the SPSS data set. The second one, we call it as the SPSS output or SPSS viewer. And then the third one, we call it as the syntax, SPSS syntax files. So syntax, this syntax is very useful, especially if you want to save, if you want to share your steps with your colleague. Okay, I'm going to give you some example here. I got the data. I give you one example of my previous data analysis for the specific group. I'm going to use the data for the renal group before. So this is their data. Okay, knowledge renal bagi muka. Okay, and then I'm going to rerun one example first. Okay, instead of push the buttons of OK, I'm going to push button of paste. And then I'm going to open their syntax. Okay, their syntax is somewhere here lah. I'm not sure where. Okay, this one, algorithm renal. So this is the step that I did for them. You see, step 1, I calculated total of knowledge. So how to calculate the knowledge is already being recorded in this syntax. So I can just highlight it and then click the run button. It will run for me. If I'm so lazy and just can click Ctrl A, everything is run. Finish already a thesis. It's a powerful things. Okay, never mind. I will teach you how to do that, provided that you have a questionnaire. Only that I need. Okay, so close it now. You just close it because we are going to discuss it later on. Okay, so this is examples of the complete data. We have gender, race, education, years of experience, years of working in the world, salary, CGPA, and your question. Okay, this is just an example. So now let us begin and go into our data. So this is our data. Okay. Can you see our data already? You like your data? You like or you did not like your data? You have to like your data. Otherwise, you cannot analyze your data lah. Okay. The first step that you need to understand is the tab. This is the tab of the SPSS. They have a lot of functions from the beginning of the functions until the advance of the functions. Okay, the first one is the file. File is where you want to manage and alternate and manipulate your file. If you want to save, open, blah, 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 you do it inside the file. Okay? You do it already, right? Because you save already your file, right? The next one is edit. Edit is a very important thing if you want to edit your data. If you want to copy, if you want to paste, if you want to put some variables, if you want to insert cases inside a file, because sometimes you got a million of data. Okay, the next one is the view. View is where you want to manage the viewer lah. For example, I want to increase the font, I want to make it smaller, I want to make it bigger, and so on. Up to you. Data. So the most important thing that you will be using will be this one, data, transforms, and analyze. These three tabs are very, very important for you to learn today and tomorrow. And one more is a graph lah. A graph, okay? This one, data, transform, analyze, and graph. All these things are frequently used. Okay, for data, the most important part is actually down here. Split file, select cases, and weight cases. What is it for? I will explain to you after this. Split file is basically if you want to split your file into different category. I'm going to share with you after this what is it. Okay, don't worry.